All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Crisler Center. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you listening. My name is Nick Hornberg. Alongside me, Daniel Thompson. Nate Sorensen will join us later in the broadcast as Michigan women's basketball will take on the Indiana Hoosiers here at home tonight, right before the weekend. Daniel, this is the second game in a row following Michigan's weekend victory against Penn State that Amy Dilk will not start at point guard for the Wolverines. The freshman, former top 40 recruit, after having started all season for the Wolverines, went down with an ugly knee injury last week against Nebraska, your hometown side, by the way. And now Kenray Johnson will take her place in the starting five, and at least the top three players will move up in the lineup as Deja Church looks to run the offense.
Indeed, and Kenray Johnson had to fill in for the Penn State game as well, so Michigan is not in a totally foreign situation. They haven't lost since the Dilk injury, so things are going at least well enough. They were the Michigan basketball team that went into State College and left with a win, so things could be worse for Michigan basketball.
Not just that, Coach Kim Barnes-Arico managed to make it the entire game. Michigan basketball.
The whole team and the whole coaching staff was there for the full game.
And the opening tip-off, it will be Hallie Thome versus Bendu Yini, and Hallie Thome with the massive height advantage, as always, will win the tip-off, and we are underway. Deja Church at the point, give and go with Johnson. Johnson will go straight to the hoop. Johnson hook shot, and it goes.
So not a bad start and replacement for Dilk. 2 points right off the bat.
And Wise plays the ball to Berger for Indiana at the point. Now back to Wise to Yini. Yini at the left point, and whistle blows. Looks like a foul. Bit of a strange moment right there as Haley Brown is called for the first foul of the game within 25 seconds of the game starting. Even though really at the time the whistle was blown, she was really kind of by herself in the restricted area, maybe even a lane violation there. Berger quick off the inbound. Back to Penn. Penn plays the ball over the top to Royster under the basket, and Royster gets a quick bucket. And the game is tied up at 2 as Deja Church, long ball to Kenray Johnson. Now to Thome underneath. Thome on the post underneath. Cannot get it to go. And a rebound by Yini as Indiana will go the other way. Yini looks to drive. Yini does drive past Church, but I don't know if Church got a block on that, but either way, the angle was bad. And now Kenray Johnson with the rebound going the other way. Now Munger at the right point. Back to Johnson at the top. Johnson looks to drive again. Johnson will go underneath, has it tipped away, ultimately able to get it back out to Haley Brown. Haley Brown from the left corner, and it goes.
And great effort there by Johnson. Very nearly got the ball stolen. Instead was able to muster all the strength she could to get an awkward-looking pass out that ended up resulting in 3 points.
And Berger at the left point, almost at the corner, now moves back to the center. Now to Wise. Wise give and go with Penn. Royster sets the pick, but well defended by Kenray Johnson. Haley Brown tips a pass away. No, Indiana managed to keep it in bounds. And now Royster in the post against Thome. Royster will go up, falling away off the backboard. Rebound by Thome, and now Church has going the other way. Michigan up 5-2. Church will look to drive straight, now forced back by Wise. Now cut away from the basket by Munger, now back to Church. Across the court now to Kenray Johnson. Johnson will look to drive, and a foul called on number 11, Kim Royster.
And that was away from the ball. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking. I don't really know what.
Another off-ball foul. And Indiana will be the first team to make a sub as Alexa Gulbe from Riga, Latvia will come in. And Kenray Johnson stands at the baseline to play the inbound. Gets it off to Munger. Full shot clock. Now Munger at the free throw line. Munger over the top to Thome. Thome will get under the basket. Thome will have to play it all the way back out to Church. Church now to Johnson. Johnson looks to drive. Now Haley Brown at the free throw line. Back to Munger at the corner. Munger cuts the baseline. Over the top to Thome, but stolen by Berger. Too high even for Hallie Thome. And Berger will look to drive straight on Church. Berger goes up. Cannot get it to go. Rebound by Kenray Johnson. And now Michigan goes the other way. Johnson to Church. Church has a driving lane. Church has it tipped away by Penn, and it goes out of bounds. And Michigan will retain possession with 24 seconds on the shot clock.
So it's been very quick back and forth play right now for both teams. We'll see if Michigan is going to slow things down now. 24 seconds on the shot clock, inbounding it from the baseline.
And a Kenray Johnson inbound. Munger off the screen is able to get it. Hallie Thome sets a pick. Now Munger to the free throw line. Back to Johnson at the corner. Johnson pulls up for three, and it goes. Michigan now has 2 threes. Quick early on in this game and an 8-2 lead.
And that might open up the center of the court for the Wolverines later down the line here, as they've had 2 corner threes now to build up a 6-point lead. Indiana will have to look for that next possession.
And now Wise at the right side will cut back to the middle. Now to Berger at the top, guarded by Church. Screen set by Golby, but goes the other way, and a quick pull-up from about 11 feet will not fall for Berger. Rebound by Haley Brown. Now Deja Church going the other way. Slows it down to Munger at the right. Now moves back to the center. Pass to Johnson at the point. Back to Church on the left. Thome trying to get space, and ball over the top of Thome in the post. Guarded by Golby. Thome will post up. Has it tapped away by Berger. Excellent defense there by Indiana. Now Yini goes the other way. Yini pulls up from the free throw line. Another missed shot and a rebound by Church. Church goes the other way. Now Church looking to drive. 1-on-3. Church will get past. Church will go up. And ball goes out of bounds, but tipped away. Michigan will retain possession.
And right there, Church probably should have recognized that she did not have the numbers there. Could have slowed down play and tried to find a teammate. But in the end, no great harm done as Michigan retains possession and still has 25 seconds to work with here before needing to get a shot off.
Indiana taking another substitution. Kiana Warthen will come in. And Michigan, bad inbound pass and ultimately falls to Wise. And now Warthen will go the other way on the left. Wise will set a pick. Warthen will not take. And now she chooses to, but excellent defense by Michigan. And a tip pass by Johnson, but Wise able to recover. And now it's Warthen up top. Warthen moves left. And now Wise cuts the baseline, pulls up from 8 feet, cannot go, and a missed shot, and there's a fight, and the ball's on the ground, and Kenray Johnson has it, and a jump ball called. And I believe the possession arrow
should be with Indiana.
It is.
Yeah, Michigan winning that tip-off, they'll lose the possession arrow, so now next jump ball will go in Michigan's favor whenever that comes to be, or they'll start the next period to play with it, so...
And there's a stoppage of play here, a little confusion as Kim Barnes-Arico talking with the referee, perhaps something she didn't like. But either way, it's Jalen Penn who will take the inbound. Yini now to Wise. Wise considers pulling up for 3, but good press defense by Haley Brown. And ultimately, just inside the arc by Golby will not go. And then the offensive rebound and the attempted layup by Wise also fails to go in. And Church lays it off to Johnson. Thome looks to set a pick. Johnson does not take it, but Johnson is called for a travel.
Yeah, and it looked like that was one that Indiana was yelling, screaming for from the sideline. Saw the coaching staff get really in the ref's ear. Now they're working something out. I think that might be a call that they've been looking for a while tonight. But in the end, 5:53 to go. Michigan still has that 6-point lead. Both teams on a pretty big scoring drought right now.
Yes, as Yini plays a ball into Gulbe. Looks to play it out to Yini at the arc. And good switch by Michigan. Yini will drive straight to the bucket, and Indiana gets a bucket. I was calling with you. Since I'm calling with you, Daniel, I almost said Nebraska. And now
colors are similar.
The lead is cut to 4. Johnson lays it to Church. Church at the free throw line. Church will almost look to drive. Church will force to play it back out to Haley Brown. Now Johnson over the top to Thome in the post. Thome falling away, fouled.
So that in the act of shooting, so that will send her to the line with an opportunity to bring Michigan's lead back to 6. It's points have come at a premium here in this one, so great opportunity for the Wolverines here from the charity stripe.
And Kim Barnes-Arico talking with her guards as Hallie Thome hits the first free throw, and Naz Hillman will come in for the Michigan's first sub of the game. Haley Brown will go to the bench. And just as well, Kim Royster will come back in for Indiana as Brenna Wise makes her first trip to the bench.
And still no sighting of Amy Dilk, who did not play at all in the previous game.
Yes, as we said at the top of the broadcast, Amy Dilk took a hard fall against Nebraska and injured her knee. She was warming up before the game, but still has not played. And now Nebraska going the other way. Jalen Penn at the top. Royster sets a pick and then lays off. Now the drive by Penn will go up and cannot get it to go, but an offensive rebound by Yini. Yini goes up and blocked by Thome. Thome with the quick rebound to Kenray Johnson. Kayla Robbins at the scorer's table looking to check in for Michigan eventually. Now Naz Hillman in the post. Hillman double teamed, goes up, cannot get her first shot to go. And Kiana Warthen goes the other way. Now it is Penn at the point. Penn to the free throw line, tipped away by Munger, but She recovers, and Penn with her first points of the game, and the lead, Michigan's lead is cut to 3. Now Munger at the point will look to lay it off, ultimately decides against it. Munger at the point. Not a whole lot of movement right now for the Michigan offense. Now to Thome on the right, now to Hillman at the point. Hillman will set a pick for Munger, who will drive. Good defense by Indiana. I almost did it again with Nebraska. Thome lays off to Church. Church pulls up for 3, and Michigan hits their third 3.
And they're 3 for 3 on the night.
And the lead is back up to 6. And now Yeaney takes the ball. Indiana so far really playing a positionless game more than anything. Yeaney taking part in the tip-off and handling the ball. And now Kim Royster will get under the basket, forces Thome off, and gets another bucket. And Hillman plays quick inbound to Church. Church at the point will move to the right. Give and go with Nicole Munger. Now to Thome, just to the left of the point. Now to a Kenray Johnson. Hillman sets a good pick, and Johnson will drive straight to the basket. Johnson goes up, cannot go, but offensive rebound by Naz Hillman, and Hillman gets her first points.
And only Michigan's second 2-point field goal of the game. They could be up by a lot more if they had been consistently hitting any of those.
And Yeaney, give and go with Penn, and now Warthen to Gulbe, cross court to Warthen. Warthen does not take the 3. Gulbe blocked by Hillman under the bucket. And now Church will drive straight to the bucket. Church goes up and draws the foul, will go to the line and shoot 2.
And that'll bring us to the under 4 timeout here, as we've got 3:11 to go in the first quarter. And all in all, I think definitely a start Michigan can be happy with. They've been fortunate, at least with they've gotten open looks, but going 3 for 3 on 3-pointers is never a sustainable way to hold on to your lead. But a 6-point lead will be welcome nonetheless.
And Michigan 5 for 11 from the field overall, but as you said, 3 for 3 from beyond the arc, which puts them at a less than inspiring 2 for 8 within the arc, which is a little bit contradictory when you think about it, considering theoretically 3-point shots are the lower percentage looks.
But Indiana's left them wide open. I mean, none of those were contested threes.
Yes, and Daniel, which golf-themed comedy featuring Bill Murray, Rodney Dangerfield, Kenny Loggins music, and a dancing gopher?
I mean, that sure sounds like Caddyshack.
That is Caddyshack. That's right, Daniel. Good job. Kayla Robbins' first guess was Happy Gilmore.
Oh, that's a golf comedy. I've seen Happy Gilmore more times than...
Caddyshack is the better movie. I'm of that opinion.
Okay, I mean, I've seen... I just have a better relationship with...
That's fair.
Happy Gilmore.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, there's a surprisingly good number of good golf comedies.
Same. Well, it's not hard to make fun of a bunch of old people playing a country club sport.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's.
I say that, and I love playing golf.
And you worked at a golf
store for 2 years.
Yeah, that's how you found out about WCBN. Even.
That is correct. But either way, timeout still going on as Michigan has a 14-8 lead here at the Crisler Center. A little bit of a sparse crowd, which I suppose isn't necessarily a surprising thing, considering that it is a weeknight here.
And Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Probably got a few people who would have otherwise gone had other plans, but I think the biggest issue with the Happy Gilmore answer is that it is 80s night, so that's a 90s movie.
Caddyshack, I believe, was 1980.
Yeah, that would have been early 80s. So it was 2000s night at Michigan Golf last week. Yet someone's brought a 1999 Phantom Menace
at hockey.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I would say the Phantom Menace poster. That was
1980. You're right on the nose there. 1980. Yep. Caddyshack was released.
Yeah, that was the Ghostbusters guys before Ghostbusters, because Harold Ramis produced it. And Bill Murray was in it.
Yeah.
And Deja Church at the free throw line will hit the first one after bouncing off the front and the back of the rim.
Yeah, that one could have easily bounced out, but a lucky bounce there for Deja Church.
And Church makes the second one with a little bit more ease, just right in off the back of the rim. And now Hillman pressing high. Coach Arico going a bit aggressive from now on and almost forces the steal. Excellent defense by Hillman and Johnson, but good recovery by Grace Berger. Berger now to Worth and back to Berger. Terry Morin, Indiana's coach, screaming for some movement off the ball. Berger lays it off to Yini. And Yini will play it back at the point, force back, and Indiana will heave up a prayer at the end of the shot clock. It will not go. Rebound by Kenry Johnson. Michigan going the other way. And over the top to Church. Church will look to go to the free throw line. Church back to Munger at the right. And now Kenry Johnson will post up. Kenry Johnson faces up with the fader, and it goes.
Great move off the glass there. But going back to that last Indiana offensive possession, that press ended up paying off, even if they didn't get the turnover. Indiana didn't set up to run their offense until there was 15 on the shot clock.
And now a pass under the basket. Munger had fallen asleep a little bit on Kim Royster, but too much zip on that pass, and it goes out of bounds. Indiana will keep possession, though. And Danielle Roche comes in for her first action of the game. Deja Church goes to the bench. Roche, generally a fringe player, but forced into more action due to Amy Dilk's injury.
And that would definitely make me think we're less likely to see Dilk here tonight.
And Brenna Wise in the post against Robbins, and Kayla Robbins thought she got a finger on it, but ultimately it does go in. Michigan's lead cut to 8, and Danielle Roche will run the offense. Roche puts a spin move on nobody in particular, but dumps it off to Nicole Munger. Munger back to Johnson, to Hillman in the post, and Hillman tries an entry pass, but has it tipped away by Brenna Wise, and Indiana forces a turnover. As Yini goes the other way on the left. Yini on Munger, forced back. Wise pulls up for three, and a block by Kayla Robbins, and Robbins goes the other way, but excellent makeup speed by Indiana. Robbins gets it off anyway, but cannot get it to go, and now Indiana has space to run. As Yini will go up straight against Johnson, and off the backboard and in. Hillman, quick inbound to Danielle Roche. Roche now to a Kenray Johnson. Back to Roche. Roche motioning for Robbins to come to the right. Now Hillman at the left. Back to Munger at the top to Roche. Munger sets a pick as Roche not able to make anything of it. Johnson at the corner, 10 seconds left. Johnson will cut to the baseline and takes a hit and throws the ball up, but another turnover forced by the Hoosiers. And Penn, Nicole Munger gets a bit aggressive, and Penn finds the space and drives straight to the bucket, and Kim Barnes-Arico will be forced to burn a timeout. Michigan's lead cut from 10 to 4.
And Michigan has held on to those comfortable leads for more or less the entire first quarter as we just have 52 ticks to go. But they can't seem to pull away. They got that 10-point lead, then it was very quickly cut down to a 4-point lead. We'll have to see if Michigan can find that breakaway speed and maybe leave Indiana in the dust. For the time being, no such luck, though. I'd say this is an important one for the Big Ten standings. I mean, right now Michigan is 7-6, and Indiana's just a game back at 6-7 in Big Ten women's play. So a win here would put Michigan up in the up to 8-6, which would be good enough to be fourth in the conference for the time being.
And now 52 seconds left in the first quarter. Michigan up 18-14, and Indiana currently has the ball. Interestingly enough, Daniel, back to the conversation on golf movies. Guess what state the movie Caddyshack takes place in?
Nebraska, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that fact isn't really talked about all that much for some reason.
Because it's only mentioned once in the entire movie, and it's in the first 10 minutes. And now Nicole Munger at the point because there is basketball being played. Pass to Kayla Robbins, back to Roach. No, stolen away by Grace Berger, and excellent makeup speed by Hillman to stop the fast break a little bit at least, and Berger will pull up from the free throw line, and it will fall. A lucky roll for Indiana.
The rims have been forgiving tonight on both ends of the court.
And now 16 seconds left in the quarter, no shot clock. Deja Church at the top, moves to the right. Roach comes out, finds some space. Roach off to Church. 7 seconds left. Church moves to the free throw line, now moves back, now to Hillman in the post. Hillman back to Church. Church will pull up for three. Off the backboard, no, it will not go. And that is the end of the first quarter. Michigan, after stretching to leads as high as 10, have their lead reduced to 2, 18-16, going into the second quarter.
And that was Michigan's first missed three-point attempt of the night. Going 3 for 4 in the first quarter, not bad at all, but they're going to have to play better down low and close to the rim because they've not put too many shots away. I think there's still only 2 two-point field goals made.
Yes, as the final numbers from the first quarter, Michigan 6 for 14 from the field, including 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. So that puts them at 3 for 10 from inside the three-point line.
So, no, I mean, shooting 30%. I mean, that'd be an unideal three-point percentage. And then for two-pointers, not a good look at all.
Michigan overall shooting 43% from the field. Indiana not doing much better, 38%, 8 for 21 from the field, including 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. So Indiana not really covering themselves in glory in that regard either, 8 for 19 from inside the three-point line.
As we have 80s karaoke going on right now.
Ariel Young lip-syncing some classic Whitney Houston.
Here on 80s night. We've got some announced. Vote for the best lip-syncer. Who gets your vote, Nick?
It's hard to say because it's a matter of personal preference. Because remember, Haley Brown is lip-syncing Nicki Minaj, who I don't like, and Ariel Young was lip-syncing Whitney Houston, who I do like. So it's hard to say. Interestingly enough, Patrick Bateman, the anti-hero of American Psycho, was a massive Whitney Houston fan.
Oh, he wasn't a real person. I don't think that was ever discussed in the movie. Is that in the book?
No, that Patrick Bateman was a Whitney Houston fan?
Yeah. I don't think it's in the movie.
It is in the movie.
Okay, all right. Well, that's 80s terminology. I don't remember.
Because there's 3 scenes where he plays music. There's the famous one that we all know
about.
The
Hip to Be Square,
Huey Lewis. And then he plays some Genesis at one point. He plays some Invisible Touch and In Too Deep. And then another time he plays Whitney Houston. I don't really remember what song it was. I think it's I Will Always Love You, but
interesting.
It didn't end well for the other people in the room at the time of the scene. And the second quarter has begun. Deja Church on the left side. Hallie Thome sets the pick. Church now to Haley Brown at the free throw line. Haley Brown back in the game. Nicole Munger off a screen from Brown and plays a pick and pop with Brown. Brown across court to Church. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Church at the corner. And another pass tipped away, and Brenna Wise will have a fast break. 1-0, easy layup, and the game is tied at 18. Michigan getting really sloppy with the turnovers in the last couple minutes. And now Hallie Thome doubled off just outside the paint, and Thome is called for a travel. Another turnover by Michigan. As Daniel shakes his head next to me.
I mean, we were discussing at the break that the issue was they weren't making their shots. They're not even getting shots off now as they just continue to turn the ball over.
And Yini has the ball on the right for IU as Kenry Johnson and Naz Hillman look to come back in the game. And another missed 3 by Indiana, but an offensive rebound by Brenda Wise. As Berger plays it back to Yini. Yini will drive to the hoop, and Yini has a block by Munger, and out of bounds it goes off of Yini, and Michigan forces a turnover of their own. Kenry Johnson and Naz Hillman come back in the game. Deja Church and Danielle Roche will both go to the bench.
And to give you an idea of the difference in the way these two teams are scoring points, with that last missed 3, it remains true that Indiana has all their points come from 2-point field goals. 9 for 23 for 2 points. Not a great stellar percentage, 39.1, but.
And Indiana pressing at the half court. Kenry Johnson moves to her left, able to get away from it. Now Munger begs for movement. Thome gestures right. Munger forced to play it off to Thome. Indiana really suffocating right now. Ball over the top to Johnson. Johnson, an excellent catch under the basket and goes up for the layup. Michigan retakes the lead 20-18. And now Michigan seeing Indiana's half-court press and raising them to full as Indiana able to get away from it. But Berger forced to play off a quick pass to Royster. Another cross-court to Yini. Now to Penn at the corner. Penn will drive and go up, and Indiana will tie the game again. Hillman.
And another 2-point field goal. That's just their bread and butter.
Quick inbound to Nicole Munger. Munger slowing it down. Game tied at 20 after Michigan having an 18-8 lead in the first quarter. And Kenry Johnson moves to the point. And over the top to Thome. No, tipped away by Royster. And now Berger goes the other way. Berger lays it off to Wise. Now to Yini at the baseline. Yini gets past Hillman. Royster pulls up for three. And another one that will not go. That was Penn, sorry. And a second where nobody knew who was going to go for the rebound. Ultimately, it was Hallie Thome. And now a Kenray Johnson will have it off to Haley Brown. Brown to Munger. Munger laying it off. Now to Hillman at the left. Now to Brown at the top to Munger. Brown sets the pick. Munger looking to drive back to Brown. 5 seconds left in the shot clock. Thome in the post. Thome will go up, and Thome, after a bounce, Hallie Thome, really all season hasn't had anything even resembling rim luck, gets one to go after about 6 bounces. Indiana gets past the press. Royster will drive, and once again, that's Penn rather, and a runner from about 10 feet will not go. Rebound by Brown. Johnson goes the other way. Thome sets the pick. Johnson does not take, and now Munger lays off to Johnson. Johnson at first looks to take three, decides against it. Now to Hillman. Hillman to Haley Brown, and Haley Brown mishandles the pass, but Johnson able to recover. Johnson at the free throw line. 5 seconds left again. Brown will go to the baseline. Brown from about 12 feet will not go. Rebound by Wise. And Yini will go the other way. Now Berger. Berger alone on the left. Gets past Munger, and Munger is called for a foul.
And Michigan only have 2. In their last 6 possessions, they've only gotten 3 shots off, 2 of the 3 going in. The exact numbers here, 9-1 right now is the turnover. Is the turnover game going. So that right there will tell you why Michigan is shooting so much better from beyond the arc and still only up 2.
And that was not a shooting foul, so Indiana will just have to play an inbound, and they play a quick one to Alexa Goulbe. Lays it off to Yini. Goulbe nothing going, really triple marked in the paint. And Berger plays it back to Yini. Pick set by Berger. Now Yini has to find some space. Now Berger back at the top. Berger plays it all the way almost out to the half court. And now Berger will lays it off to Warthen, who will pull up for three. Will not go. An excellent defensive play there by Deja Church, tipping the ball away. Otherwise, it would have been an offensive rebound. Hallie Thome able to come down with that. Now Naz Hillman in the post. And Hillman has the ball tipped away out of bounds. Indiana basketball.
And right there, another empty possession, not even getting a shot off. The sheer number of shots alone, Indiana is far outpacing Michigan, 32-21.
And now Warthen to Yini. Yini at the top. No one really moving. Now Wise comes, or as Berger rather, comes back out. Berger at the free throw line. Ball underneath to Alexa Goulbe. Michigan falling asleep in the paint. And the game is tied up again at 22. And Church moves to her left. Forced towards the baseline by Warthen. Or the boundary, rather. Hillman back to Church. Church looking for an outlet. Gets it to Thome under the basket. Thome will drive, go under, and another bucket for Hallie Thome. And now Michigan back to the press. And Yini plays one into Warthen. Warthen space at the top. Will not take the shot. Warthen drives. And Church, I think, got a hand on it. And confusion. And ultimately the ball falls to Yini. Hillman not able to corral the rebound. And Yini plays it off to Warthen. Underneath. And now Yini at the top. Yini for three. And Indiana hits their first three and gets their first lead of the game. 25-24.
And right there, we knew it was due at some point. The shooting, from beyond the arc, the shooting fortunes would change here at some point in this game, and Michigan was not playing it well enough all around to survive that.
And Kenray Johnson is fouled. I believe that was Grace Berger. And Indiana hitting their first three of the game. Lindsay Marchese with the first assist. And not sure if that was I believe that was an under 5 timeout, as Indiana with a 25-24 lead. Actually, I believe that may have been Kim Barnes-Arico calling a timeout. Indiana 25-24 lead, 4 minutes, 13 seconds left in the first half. It was a media timeout, to clarify, so the under 5. Michigan improving their percentages a little bit to 50% from the field, 9 for 18, but Daniel, as you pointed out, 10 turnovers against Indiana's 1.
And Michigan is shooting considerably better, actually, than Indiana from any part of the court. Indiana's shooting just 40%, but they've taken 30 shots. Michigan has taken 18, so, I mean, you can have an amazing shooting night, but if you're only shooting on maybe 3/4 of your possessions, you're going to get beat by a team that's taking 1.5 shots per possession. And that's exactly what's happening to the Wolverines right now, down by 1, because they've taken in total 22 shots to Indiana's 36.
Yes, as you said, and Michigan still 3 for 4 from beyond the arc, have not taken a 3-point attempt so far in the second quarter.
It was working well for them, made their first 3, missed 1 right at the end of the first quarter. Maybe they need to go to that to spread the court more and find more open passing lanes, but...
And a lot of the turnovers have come with Michigan trying to play plays that have been very effective for them on offense all season. Really a ball over the top from a guard into Thome or Hillman in the post. But really you see they're struggling a lot to get that because a lot of it is the absence of Amy Dilk. Amy Dilk really becoming an expert at passes like those, of course, being a 6-foot-tall point guard, which is quite tall for a point guard at the NCAA level. And it's something Dilk is able to get the arm and therefore the pass entry over the arms of whoever's guarding her. Deja Church not really able to do that as well. And now as the timeout comes to an end and both teams will retake the court.
And Michigan does have to turn around quickly and go to Illinois on Sunday to play, so it might have to be without Amy Dilk for at least another game here. Not a whole lot of time for her to recover between now and then. So this offense is going to have to look more prepared without Amy Dilk's absence in order to keep this 4-game winning streak that they're on alive.
Johnson plays it into Church. Church goes to her left. Now to Munger. Give and go with Johnson. No, fakes the give and go. Munger will go straight to the basket, forced to play it back out to Johnson. Good defense by Yeaney. Kayla Robbins back in the game. At the free throw line, back to Church. Church finds the space and goes. Church goes up and cannot get it to go. Bit of a low percentage look there. And Yeaney with a rebound. And Church goes to the ground. Bit of an odd exchange right there. Yeaney will go straight to the hoop but cannot get it to go. And a foul. Loose ball foul, I believe that was on Kim Royster. And Kenray Johnson shaken up a little bit, hits the court after fighting for that ball.
Yeah, was going for the rebound, and the Indiana player comes up right behind her, just plows her over, not really giving her any fair chance to get that rebound. So good break there for the Wolverines as they get possession and another shot at regaining the lead.
Indiana full court press. Church plays one all the way across to Munger. Kayla Robbins slips and falls. Munger, Thome sets the pick. Munger pulls up for 3. Cannot get it to go. Thome not able to corral the rebound, and a loose ball foul called on Hallie Thome. And that will be her first foul as Indiana plays a quick inbound from Penn to Yeaney. Yeaney moves to her left, finds the space. Penn sets the pick as Yeaney motions for Wortham to come back, and Yeaney to Alexa Gulbe. Gulbe will drive against Thome. Gulbe goes up and way over the basket, and a rebound by Deja Church. 3 minutes left in the half. Church, excellent pass. Good job by Munger to go up and get that catch. She can play wide receiver. And an illegal screen called.
And another turnover, another lost possession for the Wolverines. And they've gone on a bad scoring drought as well. 2 minutes and 2 seconds since their last points.
And that was now Michigan up to 11 turnovers.
Not going to win many games like that.
And Yeaney looking for space at the top. Gulbe open under the basket again, but Hallie Thome closes down the space. Thome almost gets the steal off the pass. And now it's Penn guarded by Thome. And Thome taps the ball away, but Penn able to recover. And now Penn will drive, lay it off to Gulbe. Gulbe fakes out Thome. Gulbe drives and looked like Kayla Robbins drew the charge.
Sure did, and that'll get Michigan the ball back with 2.5 to go. And that was just really good team defense there by the Wolverines, not letting any high percentage shots be allowed and forcing Indiana to just kind of jump in toward a big pile of Wolverine players.
And Naz Hillman back in the game, plays an inbound to Church, and Church forced to play a risky ball to Johnson because of the press. Now Munger able to get it back to Church. Michigan able to settle into their offense. And Munger to Thome. Wise going for the steal. And Thome has it tapped away. No, she just completely lost it. And another turnover for Michigan.
For a second, it looked like to me she was trying to pass it to someone, but that ball was way over the baseline. Not going to be catchable by any player.
Passing it to nobody in particular.
Yeah, head scratcher what she was trying to do with the ball there. It must have been tipped early.
And Yini looking for the space, lays it to Wise. Wise will look to drive to the bucket, and Wise has it tapped away. And it is off Naz Hillman. Indiana will retain possession.
And Nicole Munger maybe had a chance at rebounding that one, but she was right in assuming that her odds of recovering that were lower than the odds of the official blowing it.
Of the official giving possession to Michigan. Michigan not really having a lot of luck on out-of-bounds calls. And now Berger at the top. Passes it off to Penn. As Penn moves back to the center, takes a bump from Thoman. Penn drives, plays it under to Marchese, and draws the foul and gets the bucket. And Nicole Munger, really a bad foul right there.
Definitely, it breaks a 6-minute, 1-second long scoring drought in this game. But Munger got beat, was out of position, and then tried to commit a foul to make up for it, but was late for the foul even as well. So could potentially give Michigan their first 2-possession deficit of the game.
And Lindsay Marchese misses the free throw. Rebound by Hillman. And now Deja Church comes all the way in. Indiana dispensing with the press. And now Johnson gets it to Thome at the free throw line. Thome looking to find Hillman in the post. Ultimately lays it off to Munger. Munger plays a bounce pass to Hillman. Hillman in the post. Hillman goes up, and it cannot go. Once again, Naz Hillman not really been a factor in the post early on in this game, and Deja Church is called for a foul.
And Michigan's nightmare offensive drought continues. 3 minutes and 34 seconds now since their last points, and they've had a couple of good looks that had a decent chance of falling, not getting the bounces they need right now. And I don't know what the scoring run Indiana on is, but it's at least been 25. It's been at least been 5 straight for the Hoosiers.
As Yini with Indiana now in the bonus. Yini makes the first free throw, and Indiana with their first 2-possession lead of the game. 28-24 Indiana, 84 seconds left in the half. And Yini hits both free throws. And Indiana will make a substitution. Kiana Warthen will come in as Yini will go to the bench.
Just 6 Michigan points ago, Michigan was up 18-8. It's now 29-24, and a 21-6 run the Hoosiers are on.
And Deja Church has the ball tipped away, but out of bounds. Michigan will retain possession. Indiana not stopping the press.
And maybe trying to take advantage of the fact that Amy Dilka's out. Michigan cannot run their offense the way they're used to, adding pressure to force even more turnovers.
And Church plays it to Munger. Munger, quick ball, exploits some space to Johnson. Johnson will not take the shot, though. Plays it back to Deja Church. And Church to Thome, to Johnson at the left side. Back to Thome at the top. Thome pulls up for 3, and it does not go. Naz Hillman not able to get the offensive rebound. Hallie Thome just pulled up for 3. I never thought I'd see the day. And Penn will drive to the basket, and an easy bucket there for Indiana. Indiana extending the lead to 7. 40 seconds left in the half. As Church to Johnson at the right side. Johnson looking for space. Hillman looking for space in the post. Now back to Church. Church to Thome in the post, and Thome double marked. Thome will go under the basket, and it goes.
And that ends a 4-minute, 18-second scoring drought for the Wolverines. But part of the issue with allowing such a quick bucket on the previous Indiana possession is that gives Indiana 18 seconds to work with the last possession.
10 seconds left. Shot clock turned off. Berger at the top. Johnson forcing her back, and Penn fakes out Thome. Penn will pull up, and a block by Church. And Hallie Thome controls the rebound, and that will be the end of the first half. Indiana storming the Wolverines in the second half. jump out to a 5-point lead, 31-26.
And just a really ugly second quarter for the Wolverines. Johnson, who is starting in place of Amy Dilk, has scored 9 points, been one of the most productive offensive player for the Wolverines. But the offense has looked different without her. 12 turnovers in the first half is certainly, I believe, a symptom of Amy Dilk's absence. And I think Indiana has made an effort to exploit that, dialing up half-court and full-court presses, trying to force the issue, make Michigan make mistakes when they're already uncomfortable with the way their offense is right now. So,
and Michigan, to put context to what you're saying, Michigan only scored 8 points in the second quarter against Indiana's 15. Coach Kim Barnes-Arico has a lot of work to do, but there's a reason she's now the winningest coach in Michigan women's basketball history with 150. And with that, that is the end of the first half. My name is Nick Hornberg. Daniel Thompson alongside me for the first half, as Nate Sorensen will come on and join in the second half. Once again, we will see you in about 15 minutes. Score at halftime: Indiana 31, Michigan 26. All right, welcome back to the second half here on Valentine's Day. Michigan has to climb out of a hole in these third and fourth quarters, being down 5, 31-26 against Indiana. My name is Nick Hornberg. Alongside me for the second half, Nate Sorensen. Nate, you've had the benefit or the agony of sitting next to us and watching the game for the entire first half. What are your takeaways?
Well, you can tell this team misses Amy Dilk. I don't know what more to say other than that. As soon as Indiana got into that full court press, this Michigan team just looked absolutely lost. 12 turnovers so far here. I'm not sure how many points Indiana's gotten off of them. More than their fair share, though. It's surprising. It looks like they've only gotten 4 points in fast break situations. As much as they've been running with the ball, I would have figured it'd be more.
Now, the issue with turnovers for Michigan is more about the shots that they're not able to take than what they're giving up. As Indiana takes the ball out of halftime, and Berger plays it underneath to Kim Royster, plays it back to Wise. Wise, good defense by Haley Brown, forcing her back, and a pass inbound to Grace Berger in Indiana with the first points in the second half. Haley Brown plays a quick inbound to Deja Church, who looks to slow it down for Michigan. Church really been playing the point guard position all game long, and lays it off to Nicole Munger. Munger looks to drive, plays it back to Church. Church considering pulling up for three, ultimately decides against it. Thome comes out to set a pick. Church does not take. Hillman faces up under the basket, plays it back to Haley Brown. Brown across the court to Munger. Munger cuts across the baseline. Munger goes to the ground and called for a travel.
It looked like she just slipped on that one. It's going to be a travel when you go to the ground with the ball. But tough one right there. Another turnover for the Wolverines. That one's just some bad luck. But
Bendu Yini, Indiana's leading scorer, plays the inbound to Grace Berger. And Berger plays it out to Penn. And Church vacates the space, and Kim Royster, another bucket for Indiana. And now Church goes the other way for Michigan.
Yeah, 2 possessions, 2 far too easy buckets for the Hoosiers here.
Hillman in the post. Hillman double marked, but gets her bucket anyway. And Michigan with their first points of the second half. And Hillman really having a rough first half. And now Yini goes under the basket, cuts it back to Royster. Good defense by Hillman. I don't know if she got a hand on her, but either way, Hallie Thome with the rebound. And now Church has the opportunity. Church will drive and pulls up far enough away for a runner, even though she had the space to drive to the hoop, but it goes anyway. Michigan cutting the deficit back to 5.
Yeah, nice touch on the floater there. She also had the option to dump it down low to Hallie Thome there, it looked like. Either way, it's 2 points.
And now Royster under the bucket again, and a steal by Naz Hillman. Excellent defense there by Hallie Thome. Now Church will drive, lays it off to Munger. Poorly placed pass, however. Munger not able to shoot off it. And Haley Brown pulls up for a 3, and it goes! And the deficit cut to 2. Haley Brown now 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
And that makes Michigan 4 of 7 on the day.
And Michigan, after giving up the first 4 points in the second half, now on a 7-0 run, scores 7 points in 60 seconds, such that Tony Morin forced to call it, Terry Morin rather, for Indiana. It took me 3 tries, but I got it eventually. Will be forced to burn her first timeout.
And that run there for the Wolverines all started on the defensive end. Indiana, first 2 possessions, they get easy penetration. We're able to dish off the ball to a player on the low post, and they're getting easy layups off of that. Well, Michigan, then in that 3rd possession, same deal kind of happened there. Indiana got dribble penetration, were able to dish the ball down low, but Hallie Thome stood her ground, played excellent defense on the interior, forced, and I'm not sure if that was exactly an errant pass or an awful shot attempt. Either way, Michigan got the ball back, was able to run the other way. Then again, Hallie Thome in the post, playing defense, just absolutely stonewalling Indiana's offensive momentum there, and Naz Hillman gets the steal, and that's what Michigan needed right there, some intensity on the defensive end.
And now as Billie Jean plays over the speakers here at the Crisler Center, some old mid-'80s Michael Jackson, as the timeout coming to an end in a little bit here. And actually, that was a media timeout. No, excuse me, it was not. Media timeout alongside the Indiana timeout. As
extra long break here for everyone to dance to some 80s music.
Of course, aside from Valentine's Day, as Daniel and I pointed out in the first half, it is 80s night here at the Crisler Center.
Yeah, it's not the fullest I've seen the Crisler Center here. Surprising to see this Michigan team coming off a 4-game win streak here, playing a tough Indiana team, a team that won the women's NIT last year.
Yes, the Hoosiers will always be considered a basketball school, and relative to the crowd tonight, supported relatively well. I see a pretty healthy amount of red over in the visitors section, as both teams will retake the court. Kim Barnes-Arico will not make any substitutions, and Indiana plays the inbound. Yini to Berger. Berger at the top, plays it off to Yini. Good movement by Yini. Royster will look to set a pick, ultimately decides against it. Berger plays one to Wise. Berger moves under the basket as Penn runs the baseline. Now Yini looks to drive on Thome. Yini throws one up and it will not go. And a charge called on Bendu Yini. And that is her first.
Holly Thome's defensive dominance so far here in the second half continues. Absolutely incredible right there. She had her feet set all the way and could see that hit coming from a mile away, just stood tall and took it. That's a tough one right there.
And Holly Thome acquired her 800th rebound last month against Ohio State, one of the best to ever play the 5 position for Michigan. And now Brown to Munger. Munger from the corner and will not go. And Hillman not able to get the offensive rebound as Grace Berger goes the other way for Indiana.
And Munger couldn't convert on that one. That's just great ball movement by the Wolverines to get an open shot.
8-foot runner cannot go by Grace Berger. And now rebound by Thome. And now Munger at the corner again. Pump fakes, now goes up the baseline. Munger with the runner does not go, but she draws the foul, and she's hurt again. No, she's okay.
She pops right back up, but she definitely had a limp there, and it seems like that's the same, that right ankle. She's had problems with that just about the entire year, it feels like.
Munger with the sprained her ankle in the second quarter against Michigan State, missed the rest of that game, but able to come out and play starters minutes after that as Munger hits the first free throw, the Wolverines' best free throw shooter. And we saw Munger visibly struggle with that ankle again last week against Nebraska. Free throw stance doesn't seem to be affected as Munger hits 2 for 2, and Michigan has tied the game. And a Kenray Johnson, really the hot hand in the last few weeks, has come back in. And Nicole Munger, fittingly, makes her first trip to the bench of the game. She played the entire first half. And now Berger at the top, guarded by Church. Church gives her the left, and she takes it, lays it off to Yini. Yini plays one in to Alexa Gulbe. And Gulbe looking to drive on Thome, and Gulbe tries the low post scoop, and a block by Thome. And a jump ball called. Possession favors Michigan. And Terry Morin upset with a call over that. I think she wanted a foul.
I don't know how a foul could have been called on anyone but Indiana there. Haley Brown, or maybe that was on the shot.
And Indiana
on the shot either way.
Indiana pressing full court. Brown plays the quick ball to Church and has it tipped away out of bounds by Worth, and Michigan will retain possession. Sorry, I cut you off there a little bit.
Well, no, I just don't see how she could have thought a foul was on Thome there. She was standing with her arms straight up in the air.
Brown able to get the inbound into Johnson, but a weird exchange as Johnson really tries to. She's really trapped at the boundary line by Bendu Yini, and Johnson tried to simultaneously shield the ball and go straight through her. Either way, she lost the ball out of bounds. Indiana basketball. Gulbe sets the pick. Yini drives to the hoop and gets her points. Indiana retakes the lead 37-35. Long inbound pass to Johnson at the half court. Indiana pressing half again. Johnson doubled, able to get the ball off to Thome. Now some space opens up a little bit. No, Indiana able to recover, and Michigan will reset the offense. Now Church to Johnson beyond the arc. Thought about shooting it. Now Brown at the free throw line. Brown gets it off to Hillman in the post. Tipped away. And Indiana will get the ball back as it goes out of bounds. Another turnover for Michigan.
Yeah. Here again, we see the struggles for the offense against a full court press. I'm surprised Michigan's not trying to counter with full court press of their own. Indiana, should be noted, is without their starting point guard, Allie Patberg, leading scorer and assist maker for this team.
And Penn hoofs up a prayer, and it goes. Michigan's lead up to 4. And now Haley Brown play a quick inbound to Church. Indiana presses full, and now Church has to have the whole court in front of her, and Church is doubled and has it tipped away, and a steal by Indiana. No, an excellent effort by a Kenry Johnson to force the jump ball, as Indiana will keep possession. Michigan 3 turnovers in the last 90 seconds.
And they just look absolutely unprepared to handle a press. I mean, a bit of that's on Deja Church there for charging right into the double team, but somebody's got to be behind her for an easy outlet pass.
And Nicole Munger quickly comes back in for Michigan. Deja Church goes to the bench. Kim Barnes-Arico maybe saying the exact same thing that you just said.
Yeah, she's looking at, they're talking there. It looks like Kim had a whiteboard there marking something up for her, but surprised to see her come out of the game. Wouldn't mind having Church and Munger in there to both try to help break this press.
And now Warthen has some space at the three-point line. Will not take. Yeaney forced back. And Yeaney loses the ball out of bounds. Michigan basketball. I don't know if Munger got a tip to that or Yeaney just went to sleep for a second.
That was just right off her own foot.
Either way, Indiana will have the opportunity to use their press again as the inbound about quarter of the way up the court for Michigan. A quick ball in backwards to Munger. And the press not quite so intense. Munger able to get a pass off to Brown, and Michigan is able to get into the half court. And loose ball foul, or an off-ball foul called on, I think that was Kim Royster.
I believe so. Royster playing defense, jacking for position down low with Naz Hillman, and gets called for one there.
And that is Kim Royster's 3rd foul halfway through this 3rd quarter. 4 minutes, 59 seconds left. Indiana with a 4-point lead, 39-35.
Well,
and you have the under 5 media timeout as Kim Barnes-Arico actually removed from the huddle a little bit, going over a few things with her assistants. Looks like Nicole Munger is leading the team talk.
You would think this team needs a little bit of coaching here. They have been absolutely lackluster against this press so far. There's got to be more organization. They need somebody, first of all, in the middle of the court. Once the ball's inbounded, you want somebody normally right at around half court on the center logo to receive a pass, just so you're not getting the ball right across half court and stuck in a corner where you're effectively taken right out. If you've got 2 people coming to trap you, you're stuck in a corner. It's a game over. You need somebody in the center of the court to keep as many options open as possible. Whereas so far, Michigan's not had that at all here.
Interestingly enough, halfway through the 3rd quarter, Indiana already has 3 fouls in this quarter against Michigan 0. Michigan perhaps an opportunity to get into the bonus late in this quarter, get to the line, and cut into that 4-point deficit a little bit. And now Kim Barnes-Arico has joined the huddle. And once again, another extended break here at the Crisler Center. Indiana still up 4, 39-35. Once again, thank you for listening here at WCBN Sports. As now the sousaphone players are leaving the court, and now the buzzer sounds not far off from the teams retaking the court as the cheerleaders also leave the court, and Indiana breaks the huddle as their players start coming out onto the field. They don't appear to have made any substitutions. No, Lindsay Marchese comes back out on for the Hoosiers, and Michigan as well will not make any substitutions.
Strange to see. I would have thought Michigan would try to get Deja Church back in here to have a 2-guard lineup. So far, as tough as it has been to break the press, you'd think you'd want as many guards out there as possible.
Munger at the point, pulls up from about 18 feet, and it goes. That's about as low percentage of shot as it gets in basketball, and Munger made it look easy. And now it is Jalen Penn at the point. Yini makes the run and gets the ball at the left side. Ball underneath to Penn. Penn pulls up from the baseline. It will not go, but an offensive rebound by Alexa Gulbe. Gulbe goes up in the rebound by Haley Brown. It does not go. And Indiana backing off on the press a little bit, letting Kenray Johnson get to the half court. Johnson now to Brown to the right. Brown into Thome at the free throw line. Thome to Munger, back out at the top. Now to Johnson, over the top to Thome. Thome posts up, Thome goes, and it's a block by Lindsay Marchese, but rebound by Hallie Thome, and Thome gets a bucket. And the game is tied up, once again at 39.
And once she recovered the ball there, you gotta love the calm and collectiveness to get her bearings and go and get that scoop layup with the offhand. Absolutely beautiful.
Hallie Thome now 9 points and 9 rebounds on the day. Munger tries to draw the charge, and the crowd calling for it. And a loose ball foul called on the Hoosiers after a missed shot, and it is Michigan basketball. And Kayla Robbins comes in to replace Haley Brown.
And Munger thought she was the one
thought she was going out.
Was going to the bench there. They're telling her, hey, you're the point guard right now.
Munger still clearly favoring that ankle. And Indiana, once again, backing off the press a little bit. Not as aggressive as they were a minute ago, but still forcing the over-the-head pass from Kayla Robbins, tipped out of bounds by Jalen Penn. That was Lindsay Marchese charged with that foul.
And still, Michigan just not, these players are not in the right position against a press. There are 3 players in the front court standing right around near the three-point line as they've got 2 players struggling to even get it across the half-court line. It really makes no sense.
Johnson inbound to Munger. Johnson plays one into Thome. Entry pass now to Robbins running the baseline. Robbins is fouled by, that was Lindsay Marchese, her second in the last about 30 seconds, I believe. And Michigan in the bonus with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Kayla Robbins will shoot 2. Of course, women's basketball, not like college men's basketball in that once they are in the bonus, there is no bonus and double bonus. Instead, it is, once reaching the bonus, it is 2 free throws as Kayla Robbins hits the first, as the Crisler Center very quiet for that moment. And Kim Royster comes in the game to replace Lindsay Marchese. And Kayla Robbins at the free throw line with her second. And it goes. Michigan now 7 for 8 from the line, and Michigan is back in the lead 41-39 in really what has been a game of swings. Indiana has had the lead as much as 8, and Michigan's had the lead as high as 10, and Yini tries to get the bucket back, and she does. Game is tied up again. Robbins plays the inbound. Indiana deciding not to press. Now Johnson to Munger. Munger at the top. Gets it to Thome just to the left of the free throw line. Thome tries to play one over the top to Robbins, too high, and out of bounds off of Grace Berger. Michigan really bailed out. Actually, I suppose that's perhaps a good pass by Thome, playing quarterback right there. Put the ball where if Kayla Robbins can't get it, nobody can. And Johnson looking to play a quick inbound into Munger. Munger goes back out to the corner. Over the top to Thome. Not quite in the paint yet, and Thome will post up, but ultimately able to lace it back to Johnson. Johnson pulls up for 3, and another one! Michigan with a 3-point lead. Kenray Johnson up to 12 points. And now Grace Berger, Brenna Wise setting a pick. Good switch by Hillman. And now Yini. Yini will drive straight to the bucket, lays it off to Penn. Penn wide open 3, and Indiana answers with a 3 of their own to tie the game at 44. And quick inbound to Munger. Indiana abandoning the press for now. As Haley Brown at the scorer's table ready to come back in. Munger at the top. Thome looking to set a pick, and Munger goes the other way. Pass to Johnson. Back to Munger. Munger pulls up for 3, and it will not go. Rebound by Berger. Indiana now with the opportunity to retake the lead. And the Hoosiers, Berger drives. Right up against Thome, and a steal by Thome rather. Now Munger off to Johnson, 2-on-1. Johnson loses the ball, and a terrible pass over to Hillman. Deflected by Berger. Now Indiana can break. Thome gets into the post, and Berger runs straight into her, forced back.
And I think the crowd here wants a double dribble. She was bobbling the ball.
I don't think they really have a case there. She never really palmed it, as Yini goes up, is fouled by Hillman. And Yini will have an opportunity to shoot two and put Indiana back in the lead, and Coach Rico not a fan.
No, things got a little helter-skelter there for a few possessions, and that foul there will slow things down, but I don't know where exactly it came from. That was another example there. I believe that was that Thome called for the foul? Naz Hillman.
Naz Hillman.
Rather. Standing in the paint, 2 arms up in the air. I don't know
and
how you play defense much better than that.
Yini hits the first one. I think they may have gotten her for a hit on the arm, but either way, Kenry Johnson and Hallie Thome, Michigan's 2 leading scorers, go to the bench, as in come Deja Church and Haley Brown. Yini misses the second one after she makes the first. Rebound by Kayla Robbins. Good heads-up play. Church plays a quick ball to Munger. Munger overhead pass to Hillman. Hillman loses it but recovers. Hillman back out to Haley Brown. Brown cuts to the baseline, forces it back to Deja Church. And Robbins sets a pick as Church gets to the free throw line. And ball off the foot. I don't know if that was intentional, but it worked. And Michigan will retain possession. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll have the opportunity to reset as Kiana Warthen will come back in for the Hoosiers as Bendu Yini goes to the bench. And inbound pass from the baseline by Church, and a foul is called on Jalen Penn. Correction, Grace Berger, her second.
And as they're in the bonus, it's going to be Robbins, who's already 2 for 2 on the day, back to the free throw line.
And Kayla Robbins makes the first one. Now the game is tied back up at 45. Crisler's very quiet. It kind of feels like the Masters. And Robbins makes 4 straight. And Michigan back in the lead by 1.
Yeah, something like the Masters. I don't know. I don't know if the tone in here is quite like that.
You're right. It's not it can't be the Masters if Vern Lundquist isn't around. And Yini back in the game, plays it off to Penn. Now back to Yini. Yini to Berger. Berger has some space, opts not to shoot the 3. Gets the ball to Royster underneath, and Robbins goes down, and the charge called on Kim Royster, and that is her 4th.
And that's going to be a big loss for Indiana. She's got 6 points, 3 boards on the day, and immediately gets checked out. And I don't know. I couldn't quite see the feet there, but it kind of looked like the feet of Robbins may have been inside the restricted circle.
And pass played to Nicole Munger. Risky pass there. Munger really having to lay out for it a bit. And now to Church. Perhaps not the best decision to inbound by Haley Brown, as Robbins was open on the left side. And Robbins from the corner. They give her all the space in the world. She opts not to take the 3, though. And Munger, ball into Robbins. Robbins out to Brown. Over the top to Hillman. Hillman posts up. Hillman goes up for it, and it will not go, but an offensive rebound by Robbins, and Robbins gets the bucket up by 3. Kayla Robbins asserting her presence with now 6 points, an offensive rebound, and a drawn charge. And now Michigan pressing full court, and almost a steal, but Alexa Goulbe recovers, and Brennan Wise with the 3, and Indiana ties the game at 48. Indiana had a response for every run so far, and now 3 seconds left in the quarter. Munger from the corner, and it goes! Michigan ends the 3rd quarter on a 3 by Nicole Munger from the corner. And Nate, this is going to be a fun 4th quarter. Michigan leading 51-48.
My goodness. I don't know where this 3-point shooting has come from for the Michigan Wolverines, but that's now 6 of 11 from behind the arc on the day. This is a team that typically, I feel like I don't even see them shoot double-digit 3s all that often. They shoot almost, not quite, or below average.
I think Nicole Munger's their highest percentage shooter. I think she's shooting about 32%.
Yeah, this is not a team that's going to come out gunning from three most nights. I cannot believe what we've seen so far. And how about that pass from Deja Church? She floated it up just perfectly so that when Nicole Munger caught it, she was right in the corner to shoot that last-second buzzer beater. That was absolutely a perfectly executed end of a quarter there for the Wolverines.
And now a break between quarters. Michigan shooting percentage from the field up to 51% and shooting, as you said, a staggering 55% from three, as well as 9 for 10 from the free throw line. And yet, the specter still looms. Michigan 17 turnovers. However, Indiana a bit sloppy in that third quarter. They're up to 7 after going into the break with only 1.
And they're lucky that it's not 8 there, as that last pass that led to the Indiana 3.
They got very lucky for that one.
I mean, I think there were 3 Wolverines closer to that ball than any Hoosiers. Yeah, Indiana was still able to recover. That was just poor effort there. But either way, they're able to answer the 3 with the Nicole Munger 3 to close that one out. But
yes, that was an excellent play by Alexa Golby. One of the sort of like Indiana's version of Naz Hillman is a big that comes off the bench. Gulbe, of course, from Riga, Latvia, the same home country as newly minted Dallas Mavericks player Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah,
I don't know much about Latvia, but apparently they can produce some pretty good basketball players.
They also produced Andris Biedrins.
Okay, all right. Maybe not quite that great of basketball players.
They're great at producing. They produce a lot of big players.
Sure.
Biedrins, center, Porzingis a big, and Alexa Gulbe a big. And now Haley Brown at the top. The start of this fourth quarter. Church lays it out to Munger, and an off-ball foul on Penn, and that's her second.
Yeah, Robbins hit the deck there. Didn't quite see the action, but that's an easy one to call.
And now Nicole Munger will take the inbound from the baseline under the basket, and we'll get it to Thome. Quick give and go. Munger pulls up. Is that on the line? Doesn't matter. It doesn't go.
I think looks like they were going to make that one a 2. Tough to see.
She had 1 foot over the line. That's probably the right call, as Bendu Yini runs across the baseline, gets a pass out, and tipped away out of bounds by Deja Church. Indiana will retain possession. Hallie Thome back in the game after sitting the end of the third quarter, on the cusp of a double-double, 9 points, 9 rebounds. And Yini plays an inbound to Grace Berger. Berger, overhead pass to Penn at the left side. Gulbe sets the pick, and Thome called for the foul. It's fairly straightforward one right there. Really more of a hip check than a defensive play.
Yeah, that's been a struggle for Michigan so far here in the second half, defending that pick and roll. Hallie Thome comes out there, tries to hedge. Just couldn't get her feet out there quick enough. Throws the hip. That's a foul every time.
That's the closest Nate will ever get to watching hockey. And now the drive, and Penn draws the foul and gets the bucket, and now she'll have the opportunity to complete a 3-point play and tie the game. And now Penn will have the dubious honor of shooting a free throw right in the face of the Michigan band, and she misses it. But an offensive rebound by Wise as Robbins falls, allowing for space for Penn to pull up, and it does not go. An offensive rebound by Gulbe, and a block by Thome, but another offensive rebound. That's playground basketball right there. 2 offensive rebounds within 2 seconds for Alexa Gulbe. Thome, Robbins under the basket, but steal by Wise. Indiana with a 52-51 lead. Now Berger. Wise sets the pick. Good switch by Haley Brown. Now Berger looks to drive, and Berger will go up with the pull-up from about 7 feet. It will not go, and Hallie Thome with her 10th rebound. And Deja Church slows it down. Indiana once again abandoning the press. Church to Thome. At the top, back to Church. Now to Haley Brown. At the top, Brown over the top to Thome. Thome triple marked in the post and jump ball. Possession arrow favors Michigan.
Well, no, or is it going to be a foul?
It is going to be a foul. And it is Alexa Goulbe called for. That was her 3rd foul. And Naz Hillman will come in. Kayla Robbins, after putting in a great shift at the end of the 3rd quarter, goes to the bench, and Kim Barnes-Arico knows it too. And now Deja Church will deliver. Now a little bit of confusion, everyone moving around with nobody standing to deliver the inbound, as Church looking for space, gets it off to Haley Brown, and tipped away by Penn. Michigan will retain possession. Michigan really starting to struggle off these inbounds.
Yeah, and it doesn't help when, you know, you just got to cut a little bit harder off these screens. Indiana's really trailing hard, following every Michigan player right on the hip.
And they've played all the way back to Thome, now to Munger at the top. Hillman looks to set a pick, and ultimately Munger gives it off to Thome. Deja Church makes a cut, ultimately gets it to Munger at the free throw line. Munger, marked, not able to get a shot off, and now 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Deja Church at the top to Munger. Munger thinks about it, over the top to Hillman. Hillman in the post. Hillman goes up, and it does not go. And another jump ball forced by Naz Hillman against Jalen Penn. And possession arrow to Indiana.
Yeah, that's going to go maybe Indiana ball now, but absolutely incredible effort there by Naz to even be in the area to get that offensive rebound. She shot that one. Was a hook shot, falling away from the basket, was still able to recover and get towards the ball there.
Wise pulls up for a 3, and almost an offensive rebound there by Goulbe, but Church able to come down with it. Naz Hillman having an uncharacteristic night, only 2 for 6 from the field, 4 points. And now Deja Church moves left. Looking for a lane. Berger right on her hip. And Church has bled down 20 seconds of the shot clock. Thome sets a pick. Church drives to the baseline. Church goes up, and it goes. Michigan up by 1, 53-52. 7 minutes left in the game. Now Berger at the top, out to Wise. Now to Goulbe at the top. Tries to give it off to Penn, but good defense by Church. Now gets it off to Penn. Kenray Johnson goes to the scorer's table. And Penn forced all the way back. 6 seconds left on the shot clock, and Penn pulls up for a 3, and it will not go. And rebound by Munger. No, a foul.
That's a tough one right there. That's the third foul on Munger.
And even Munger is confused about that. Haley Brown goes to the bench as a Kenray Johnson comes in. Munger's probably asking, wait a minute, I'm 5'11", Goulbe is about 6'3" or 6'4", and Goulbe ended up on the ground and
absolutely, that was a 50-50 ball too. They're both just going for the basketball there. Sure, there's some contact, but tough to say that was a foul.
Penn drives, gets under about 4 players, cannot get it to go, and another jump ball forced by a Kenray Johnson, and Michigan will take the ball. And Lindsay Marchese will check back into the game, as well as Kiana Warthen, as Brenna Wise and Grace Berger will go to the bench. Indiana opting for a little bit more size. And now Indiana back on with the full court press. Quick inbound to Church at the corner, and Church forced into the corner, and Kim Barnes-Arico forced to call a timeout.
And right there, the ball cannot be inbounded into the corner. You got to go anywhere else. Right there, they're going to trap immediately there every time, and once you're trapped in the corner, really your only option is to call a timeout or turn the ball over.
Yes, now each side getting into an interesting situation in fouls so far in this 4th quarter. Michigan with 3, Indiana with 2. There's 6:20 left in the game. Michigan up by 1, 53-52. Kenray Johnson pacing the Wolverines and scoring with 12 points. Jalen Penn on the other side in the lead for the Hoosiers with 15. Hallie Thome, 1 bucket away from a double-double, 9 points, 10 rebounds. So far, Indiana, after entering the fourth quarter down by 3 to the Wolverines, have cut it to 1, though Indiana has had the lead for stretches in this fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, Indiana now on a 2.5-minute scoring drought. Only one for the last 7 from the field, I should say. Really, it's absolutely incredible. Michigan has the lead right here in the fourth quarter. They have taken 18 less shots than Indiana so far today. And
they've also committed 11 more turnovers.
Yeah, and Indiana, further 18 more shots. All they have is 4 more makes to their name. And really, it's been Michigan's incredible 3-point shooting, 6 of 11 with the long ball that's kept them in this game. Absolutely incredible work. Not something normally see out of this team, but when they needed it, they've had it here today.
All right. As Michigan puts their 5 back out onto the field, onto the court rather, no substitutions. It will be Church, Munger, Johnson, Hillman, Thome. Kim Barnes-Arico late in games the last couple weeks really going with that big lineup, in particular, most importantly, Hillman and Thome up top. Of course, you and I remarked at the end of the game against Ohio State, the lineup that won them the game. Amy Dilk, Nicole Munger, Haley Brown, Hillman, and Thome. Of course, Amy Dilk out injured. Haley Brown currently on the bench. Kenray Johnson since then has been on an absolute tear. And Michigan botches the inbound. Hillman loses it to Bendu Yini. And Yini at the top as right on cue, Haley Brown moves over to the scorer's table. And Alexa Gulbe plays the ball over to Penn. And now Penn will look to drive, plays it back to Gulbe. Gulbe pulls up for 3, and it goes. Indiana back out in the lead, 55-53. And Indiana lays off a little bit for the press. And now Johnson moves to the right, gets into the half court. Now to Church at the top. Deja Church off to Naz Hillman. Now to Kenray Johnson. Johnson moves to the right. Johnson at the free throw line. Gets it underneath to Hillman, and Hillman off the backboard cannot get it to go. I think that may have been forced out of her hand. And now Penn goes the other way for the Hoosiers on the right side. Penn off the screen. Now Yini will drive. Yini with the floater. It will not go. And a rebound by Church. Now Michigan has room to run. Going the other way. Munger up alongside. Church will go straight to the bucket. Draws the foul. And takes a hard fall herself. Deja Church will be able to shoot 2.
Lucky break for the Wolverines there. Gulbe with the floater. It looked like it was going in all the way. Or, excuse me, that was Yini. It looked like it was halfway in, rolls out. Great work by Deja Church to get that rebound and take it down the other way.
And Penn now has 3 fouls. If Deja Church hits the first free throw, Church now in double digits. 10 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Haley Brown back in the game for the Wolverines. Marchese and Worthen go to the bench for the Hoosiers. And Church gets some awful luck on the rim and misses that second one. And rebound by Penn now to Bendu Yini. And Yini moves to the right, lays it off to Wise and loses it, but recovers but Berger able to recover. Now back to Penn at the top. Penn moves to her left. Gulbe sets the pick. Decent switch by Thome, but pass overhead. Gulbe not able to control it. Out of bounds it goes. Michigan basketball.
Yeah, excellent work on the head right there by the Wolverines. You normally give up a free run to the basket by the roll, or by the screener, I should say, and Gulbe there was open underneath the basket, but that's one thing that comes with the hedge. You force the ball handler to make bad decisions.
Worthen back in. Indiana presses. Johnson almost loses touch on a pass to Deja Church, but Michigan able to get into it. as Thome, about 10 feet from the basket, will post up, and Thome goes up for the floater, and it goes! Hallie Thome now with a double-double, and Michigan back in the lead. As Benduyini comes up top, Terry Morin furious with her team. And Kiana Warthen up top, now to Wise. Wise lays it off to Benduyini. Golbe sets the pick, and Yini drives straight to the bucket, and it goes Indiana back in front. And now Deja Church takes it. Indiana does not press until Church gets to the half court, and Warthen really on. You notice Indiana really bring on Warthen when they want to press the ball. And back to Johnson at the top, now to Munger. Munger gets it to Thome in the post, no, tipped away, but a foul called on Alexa Goulbe. That's her fourth.
And looks like they're going to have to get her out of there. She's one of the few players on this Indiana team with enough size to match up with Hallie Thome down low.
And Goulbe comes out in, and another player with the size to compete with Thome is Kim Royster, who's back in the game, but she is also on 4 fouls. So you have an opportunity there for Michigan. Thome takes the inbound, gives it to Munger. Now Munger gives it off to Brown. Brown from the top for 3. It will not go. Johnson fights for the rebound, but ultimately falls to Brenna Wise for the Hoosiers.
And that was not a bad three-point shot there. It was in the flow of the offense. Brown got an open one there, but I would have liked to seen the Wolverines go and try to get that 5th foul on Royster.
And Royster plays it under to Wise. Wise under the basket. Good defense by Church, and Munger taps away. Now to Church, no, a foul. And Munger is fuming on the court with that. And the crowd at Crisler not fans of it either.
And that was a late whistle right there. The ball was well out of the hands there, and then the whistle was blown. I don't know what changed in between the time the ball flew out and when that whistle was blown.
That was Deja Church's 3rd foul, and now Penn has it all the way at the top. And Royster sets a pick, and Penn will pull up, and it will not go. Rebound by Nicole Munger. Excellent job boxing out on the bigger Royster. And now Kenray Johnson. Brown giving her some space to pull up, will not do it. And now Church on the right. Now to Brown, 3 feet from the basket. Brown goes up, it will not go, but an offensive rebound by Johnson. Johnson goes up, and it goes. Michigan back out in front. Nate, it's looking an awful lot like the team that has the last shot is going to win the game as Yini drives to the bucket. Excellent defense by Thome, forcing her back. A jump ball is called. I'm not sure why.
That's something you'll see happen when somebody's going up to the basket and the defender gets their hand on it. It's not a typical jump ball, but when the defender just has one hand on it, blocks the shot, and then the offensive player comes back down with it, with the defender's hand still on it, they're going to call that one a jump ball.
And timeout on the court. Hallie Thome with her 3rd block. And honestly, I'm surprised that she's only credited with 3. As Terry Morin calls a timeout, it'll be a shorter timeout, 30 seconds.
Absolutely. She may only have 3 blocks, but she's impacted a whole lot more shots out there today. She's been an absolutely incredible defensive anchor for the Wolverines today.
And now Michigan back out on the court. Naz Hillman is back in. Deja Church goes to the bench. Nicole Munger will be the lone guard. And IU looking for the inbound and has to play it all the way back to Grace Berger. Berger now to Penn. Penn marked by Johnson, forced all the way back. Royster sets a pick. Penn goes the other way, almost a steal by Brown. Lays it off to Yini. And Munger makes a signal. Royster sets another pick. Yini drives. Yini pulls up from 10 feet, and it will not go. Thome, another rebound. Munger now has the ball at the top. Indiana, oddly enough, deciding not to press with only 1 guard, and Nicole Munger not known as a ball handler. And now Kenray Johnson on the left. Johnson looks for a ball over the top, ultimately doesn't take it. Now over the top to Thome in the post. Thome goes up, double marked, draws the foul, and it goes. Hallie Thome, 13 points, 11 rebounds, an opportunity to get her 14th point. The lead extends to 3. Michigan is in the bonus.
And great work right there. That's you picking on a player that has 4 fouls already. Royster didn't put up much fight in the paint. Wise came over to help and gets the foul.
And Thome completes the three-point play. Michigan up 4, 61-57. And Yini plays a quick inbound to Berger, gives it right back to Bendu Yini. And now the team calling for some noise from the Crisler crowd, and they get it. And now it's Wise at the left. Give and go with Penn. Royster sets the screen. Back to Berger. Royster with another screen. Berger goes the other way. And illegal screen called on Royster. No, sorry. A foul on Nicole Munger. And Indiana is in the bonus, and Munger now has 4 fouls. Kim Barnes-Arico might have to make the tough decision to pull her captain with 2 minutes left in the game.
Well, with 4 fouls, you just can't play defense the same way. And Michigan needs all the intensity they can get on the defensive end right now.
And now Berger hits the first free throw. It looks like Alexa Goulbe will come back in. And she misses the second. Rebound by Brown. Now Munger has the ball, goes the other way. Munger slows down the offense. Indiana not going to press, but Indiana calls both their subs away from the scorer's table. And Kenry Johnson gives it to Haley Brown. Now to Hillman at the corner. Now to Munger. Munger will not shoot the 3. Thomas has to pick. Munger goes the other way. Lays it off to Hillman. Hillman over the top. Back to Johnson. Johnson with the fake. Johnson drives to the hoop and it goes. Bleeds the clock all the way down and extends the lead to 5. Now 1 minute left. Michigan up 5. Both teams are in the bonus. Bendu Yini up top. Give and go with Penn. Now to Wise. Give and go with Berger. Berger might look to attack at Munger. Now Penn. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Penn will drive on Thome. Penn goes up, a block by Brown, but a rebound by Yini. Jump ball called, forced by Naz Hillman. And Michigan has the ball. And now Goulbe comes in. Kim Royster will go to the bench. And is Kiana Worthen going to come in? No, Kim Barnes-Arico calls a timeout. 38.8 seconds left. Michigan up 63-58 and the ball.
My goodness, what a finish to this game by the Wolverines. So much of this game, they looked lackluster, maybe didn't have quite the intensity you'd want out of them, but their presence on the defensive end right now is absolutely incredible. It's been 3.5 minutes since Indiana's gotten a bucket to go, and that's due just how stifling Michigan has been. It doesn't matter who's in the paint. Haley Brown, Holly Thome, Naz Hillman, they're contesting shots well. They're sending them back. There's nothing easy for the Hoosiers here right now.
Michigan now has 9 blocks today. And now Haley Brown will stand at the line to deliver the inbound. And you think they can ice this game just if they get this in. And they will get it. No, they won't. Tipped away by Worthen, just as I said that. And now Yini will go the other way. Bendu Yini. Nicole Munger calling signals. Munger on Yini. That's a dangerous position for Michigan. Now Munger goes down and draws the charge. And that is really the call of the game right there. If Munger gets called for the foul, she is out of the game. But instead, draws the charge.
That is Nicole Munger in a nutshell. Hasn't had a stellar game. Only 7 points, and she's gotten 4 fouls. She's playing out there a little bit hobbled. You play a lot more conservatively with 4 fouls, yet still she manages to draw the charge and hopefully seal this victory for the Wolverines.
Now 28 seconds left. There will be no shot clock. Michigan will have the ball. And as Nicole Munger, as well as women's basketball team manager and WCBN contributor Lucas Vargas are both prone to say the hungry dog runs fastest.
Absolutely, and this is the hardest working team in America, as they often say. Well, I feel like they've definitely shown that off here in this fourth quarter. As you said, the 9 blocks, that is an absolutely ridiculous number. And it's been everyone. There's no one player that's getting all of them. Thome's got 3, Church has got a couple, Brown's got 1. I'm sure Naz Hillman's got a few to her name. It's been a total team effort here so far for the Wolverines.
Thome has 3, Hillman and Church each have 2, Brown and Robbins each have 1.
Yeah, that's incredible. And in a game where you're getting outshot, again, Indiana's got 19 more shots than Michigan, and Michigan's just played so well on defense, they're able to stifle them.
Hallie Thome also has 2 steals, as Michigan able to get the inbound. Indiana pressing to the half court, but not fouling. Johnson lays it to Munger, and Munger is fouled by Yini. And now Michigan able to bleed the clock and will get to shoot 2. 15 seconds left, up by 5 with Nicole Munger at the line.
And not a better player to have on the line at the end of a game than Nicole Munger, shooting over 90% on the season.
And Nicole Munger hits the first. And Thome and Haley Brown leave the game, likely for the final time, as Naz Hillman and Kayla Robbins come back in the game as Munger hits the second one. Now the lead has been extended to 7. Terry Morin is going to call her penultimate timeout, as it looks like the end of this game is going to drag a little bit.
You know, we've seen this before. Now that was just, I think you were talking about the Nebraska game earlier. That last 2 minutes of that game took about half an hour.
The worst part is you might not be exaggerating.
Hopefully, though, 15 seconds left, a 7-point advantage. That's a little bit too much to really try and stretch it out.
The referee not signaling for a full media timeout, so both teams retaking the court fairly quickly. And Grace Berger will stand at the line for the Hoosiers to deliver the inbound. Kayla Robbins guards the inbounder. And a quick pass out to Yini. Robbins sticking a foot out. And now Penn pulls up for a quick 3. Off the backboard, will not go. Offensive rebound by Penn. No, Hillman fights it away, and Nicole Munger fouled again. And Nicole Munger will shoot another 2.
Well, 4.3 seconds left. Do you think it's over?
Whenever I say it's over, bad things happen. As Munger hits another one, extending the lead to 8.
If things...
I will... How about this, Nate? I will say it's over, but I will not invoke any Canon Elmos.
Okay. Well, if something happens here to change the outcome of this game, I don't think you can be blamed for it. And Indiana takes another timeout, and they're going to get a chorus of boos here.
Thankfully, Terry Morin is now out of timeouts.
I don't understand this at all. It is a 9-point game with 4.3 seconds remaining. That is absolutely ridiculous. But, yeah, great win here for the Wolverines. This will stretch their winning streak to 5. Coming into this game, I think the bracketology that I was looking at hadn't been updated for a couple of days, but Michigan, I believe before their last game, or before the last game we called, which was the Nebraska game, was the 4th of the last 4, or the first 4 out of the NCAA tournament. They were the second one out going into this game. this got to help their odds here.
And Ben Nuyini will stand at the line to deliver the inbound. And looks like Michigan's not going to guard her all that heavily. And ball over the top to Gulbe. Gulbe lays it off to Penn. Penn for the three, will not go. Rebound by Deja Church, and the end of the game. Michigan, after being up by as much as 10 in the first quarter, loses the lead, goes into halftime, down 5, guts out the third and fourth quarters, pulls away at the tail end just as they did with Nebraska, and ends up with a 9-point victory, 67-58. Nate, final thoughts?
Nothing more than what I said before. One thing I would like to say is absolutely incredible individual efforts from a lot of players here today, but I don't think there's any better than what a Kenry Johnson did. You mentioned she's gone on a tear recently, and she continues that today. What did she end up?
16 points, 7 rebounds.
Yeah, and 7 of 8 from the field.
7 of 8 from the field.
To have a player like both her and Naz Hillman coming off the bench normally, I guess Kenry started here today because of Amy Dilk's absence, but to have two players that typically come off the bench like Hillman and Johnson is such a luxury. Really makes this Michigan team so dynamic, and can't imagine there's going to be too many teams in the NCAA tournament, if they do manage to get there, that can match that kind of production off the bench.
And Michigan closing the game on an 11-1 run in the last 3 minutes. And now, as we conclude our coverage of tonight's game, I want to thank you very much for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan athletics. My name is Nick Hornberg, alongside me Nate Sorensen, as well as Daniel Thompson earlier in the broadcast. Have a great night, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day. The final score, Michigan 67, Indiana 58.